something about what it's like coaching your son and how that impacts how you've set up the Creighton system. So how do you think coaching your son has helped things roll in the last 10 years?
I think the most important thing was that group, Doug, Jahans Maniga, Ethan Rogge, Grant Gibbs, that was our first year in the Big East. And, you get one chance to make a first impression. And I think that their success, that league, finishing second in the league, getting to the Big East championship in the Garden, even though we lost to Providence, I think gave our fan base hope that we belonged, and I think it sent a message to the rest of the conference that
did it confirm to you let it fly?
That we were for real.
In the Big East?
Yeah, we're gonna keep trying.
Coach, you hired Alan Hush back on staff. Can you talk about that decision and what he means to Creighton?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Al worked with me for 6 years and did a terrific job when he was with me as an assistant coach and associate head coach, and went on to really do a great job at High Point in his 2 years, which didn't surprise me one bit. And I think the fact that he played at Creighton, he's Blue Jay through and through. And I've always wanted one of my own guys to replace me if it was possible. So to be able to handpick that person and then me walk away when the time is right for me, I don't think a coach could ask for anything more.
Coach, UConn had 3 players on the preseason first team. You faced them 3 times last year. What impresses you about Solo, Terrace, and Alex over the years you've coached them?
Yeah, I mean, they're just they're so complete, and they've really embraced what Coach Hurley wants them to do and how they're going to play. And they've been great ambassadors for our conference at the same time. So they're certainly not easy to play against, that's for sure. And I think the pieces that they've added to those guys moving into this season is really elite.
Coach, what is your expectations for this season as a unit? Going, from last year to this year, what is your, expectations?
Well, losing Kalkbrenner's obviously a huge blow. Defensively, I think he was 1 of 1 in college basketball last year for what he brought to the table and how he impacted the game. So we're going to be different in that regard, and I think we have more depth than we've ever had. But offensively, we're going to have to be elite and efficient for a while till our defense catches up.
And what have you done improvement from last year to this year?
Yeah, I mean, we brought in 5 transfers, 3 freshmen, so there's a lot of new faces around there. But we're still going to play the same brand of basketball on the offensive end. We'll just have to be different defensively.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
What's your thoughts about positionless basketball, and will you play that way?
I mean, we do to a certain extent. I still think there's room for a big guy. And I'm one of those guys, so I'm not going to eliminate my own position from the game. But our guards are really interchangeable, and I think guys in this day and age, they all grow up handling the ball, they all grow up shooting the basketball. So it's you see it a lot in the NBA. Although I would argue the big guys kind of making a return to the NBA the last year or two, and at least for Ryan Kalkbrenner's sake, I hope that continues.
How's Owen Freeman doing?
Thanks.
Owen's going to be fine. He hasn't practiced much yet because he had an off-season injury. But we need to get him back. We need to get him healthy. He's an important part of our team.
To build off of what do you envision him being able to do?
Yeah, I coached against him when he was at Iowa. They played us when he was a freshman, and his ability 15 feet in to operate, get to the rim, get to the foul line is really impressive. So I think he's going to add an element to our team where we can throw that thing inside and get a basket.
With a bunch of new guys coming in from Creighton basketball, I mean, what does that do to continue to add on to the success you had when you were runner-up in the Big East title game last year?
Yeah, I mean, everybody that comes to our program, they understand the expectations. I think we finished in the top 4 in the league 9 years in a row or something like that. So, we expect to be successful, and we recruit guys with that in mind. And we have a lot of work to do to get back to that point, but I'm confident this group can do that.
Why should people be more locked in on Creighton basketball this season?
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of offensive versatility and ability on this squad, and I'm hoping it's going to be a fun brand of basketball to watch once again.
Knowing that from Iowa you were able to get Owen Freeman and Josh Dix, how do you think they'll play together, knowing that they've already played on the same
Yeah, I think
team?
that part of it has been good for both of them. I think that familiarity has made it easier for both of them to adjust to life at Creighton. Now, Josh grew up right across the river in Council Bluffs, so he's back home in a sense, and I think Owen feels that way as well.
Coach, when you were going after those Iowa guys, going off that question, was it always sort of, you wanted both of them as a package deal, or how did that come together?
No, we recruited him total independent from one another. They both fit needs that we had, which made it a little bit easier. But obviously, Josh, growing up 10 minutes from our campus, I was very well aware of him, and he came to games as an elementary and junior high kid watching us play, so he grew up a Blue Jay fan. And as I mentioned, Owen was someone that we played against when he was a freshman. Being from the state of Iowa myself, I've always followed the Iowa program, so I was very familiar with both of them and the attributes that I thought they'd bring to our program.
Coach, Jackson McAndrew is expected to take a pretty big leap this year. Can you talk about the development of him and what you're expecting?
Yeah,
from him
he's really worked on his strength. He's added 15 pounds of muscle. He's added 3.5, 4 inches to his vertical jump, and I think he's scoring around the basket much better than he has in the past to go with his elite three-point shooting. So, I've been pleased with Jackson's progress, and I'm excited that he'll have a great year.
Coach, you've been at this for a long time. How would you explain to a kid on the recruiting trail or a person that hasn't seen Big East basketball what this conference is all about?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a basketball-centric league. Basketball is so important in this conference, and really you don't go anywhere in the league where it's not difficult to play. It's not fun to play. So, it's the Big East is unique in that way, in that. I think the coaching across the league is incredible, and I think the individual campuses have really supported those programs to give us a chance to be successful.
Coach, you've had a lot of success, obviously. Do you feel like your team's a little under the radar this year? Or do you not really care about all that?
It doesn't really matter. I think preseason rankings in this day and age aren't worth the paper they're written on because nobody really knows. There's a lot of transfers. There's a lot of new guys on every team. You think you know how it's all going to fit together, but until you start playing games, you just don't know. So, we'll show up, we'll play, we'll compete hard, and we'll see what happens.
Shaka, what are you most looking forward to this year?
Most looking forward to just watching our guys out there on the floor together, competing, going after winning.
Thank you.
I gotta
Who's
ask
the
you,
guy
are you
who's going to surprise? Who's the guy in your roster who's going to surprise this season?
Caden Hamilton.
Okay, so
You've probably never heard of him,
I have.
but by the end of the year, anyone that follows the Big East will know about it.
I gotta ask you, are you tired of the portal question? Just because even when I asked you questions, I don't want to ask because it seems like everybody does. I just wonder from your perspective, are you tired of that line of questioning?
I have a lot of energy, so I'm not going to get tired because people ask me a question.
Right.
They could ask it 1,000 times. My job is to bring incredible enthusiasm and energy to our team and our guys, and so I'm certainly not going to let any line of questioning take away from that.
Gotcha.
Coach, Royce Parham, what are we expecting this year from him on both ends of the floor?
Expecting a big jump from Royce. He's had a great summer. Tried out for the national team. Made it all the way to the finalist round. I was really proud of him. Went out there and watched him in Colorado Springs. He's done a great job with his body. He's in better shape. He's stronger, more mobile. We're going to play more with two bigger guys on the floor. A lot of times last year he played a small ball 5. He'll play more 4 this year. So definitely excited about him taking a big jump for our team in all 3 areas, culturally, defensively, and offensively.
Do you prefer the 2-big style, what you're going to do this year, or are you a coach that just kind of adapts to whatever you have, or how do you?
I prefer winning. So whatever
That's good enough.
Whatever goes into winning. I think nowadays it's interesting because you see people having a lot of success with 2 bigs, even in the NBA and in college. You look at a team like Florida. But at the same time, sometimes it makes a ton of sense to have 4 guys out there that can really move and pass and handle, shoot the ball. So there's strengths and weaknesses both ways.
How about the strength of the conference? Everybody's talking about it's a 2-team league. I know you've heard that. Give me your thoughts on the Big East as a whole.
I think it's an awesome league, and I think the two teams you speak of are certainly as good as anyone in the country going into the season. So they deserve every bit of accolade and mention that they get. At the same time, the Big East has always been a deep league, and I don't think this year will be any different. There's phenomenal coaches in this league. Every roster has been populated with really, really good players in different ways, but everyone, I think, has a chance to get off to a great start, and I think that's the key for our league. If you look at November and December, if teams across the league play really, really well, then once we start playing one another, the league looks better no matter what.
Right, that happens a lot.
UConn had 3 first-team All-Big East preseason players, Solo, Terrace, and Alex. Just after coaching against them last year, and of course Alex the last 3 years now, what impresses you about those 3 players that made the first team?
Well, Caravan's a winner. I mean, he's just the ultimate winner to me. He does whatever it takes to win. He's a guy that, of all the people here today, you could ask any coach, and they would say, that guy right there, he affects winning. Terrace Reed, we played against him in a scrimmage when he was at Michigan, and he's always had a great combination of brute strength and physicality, but then also touch around the basket and the ability to, make a read and make a play. And then Solo Ball shoots the heck out of it. And he's gotten really, really good at shooting on the move and making decisions. And he's tough to deal with coming off of screening actions. Also a heck of a defender. So those are 3 older winning guys.
Coach, how much more patient have you had to maybe be this offseason? I know in previous years you've had a lot more continuity with the roster. This year a lot more newcomers. How has that kind of shifted your coaching style entering this season versus the past few years?
We had a lot of continuity this year as well. It's just, I think, when you look at the guys, the foundational key pieces that we lost the last 2 years, it seems like, wow, that's a lot of change. And in some ways it is. But we've had guys that have been in our program for quite a while that have come back. Everyone in our rotation that was not a senior came back. It's one of the things that we pride ourselves on. And our job is to help these guys grow and develop as people first and foremost, and then as players. And we believe that if we really, really pour into that, then they'll be able to step into larger roles. So that's what we're going through now. You mentioned patience. I think that's always a big key as a coach, because as my coach taught me when I was 18 years old, things don't always happen as fast as you want them to, but they always happen on time. And I think for some of our young guys, we're going to see that play out over the course of the year.
As kind of an offshoot of that, the point guard play that you've got in the last 4 years has obviously been very high level. Can you guys come close to that, and who do you think would be able to do that?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned 4 years, because, when Tyler was in his first year with us, a lot of folks didn't think that he was good enough. And I thought he was terrific. I thought he was probably the most important offensive player on our team that year, even though he didn't shoot the ball great. Then the very next year, he was Big East Player of the Year. So it's always an evolution with guys. Cam Jones was an evolution. He wasn't a point guard until his last year with us. Sean Jones had some really valuable minutes for us at point guard as a freshman and sophomore. And then midway through his second year, his season was cut short. Now he's back. Nigel James is a new point guard for us. So between those 2 guys, Sean and NJ, those guys handle the ball quite a bit for us, along with Chase Ross, and we're super excited. It'll be different than Cam. It'll be different than Tyler. But the one thing that those guys have in spades is speed. And so we are really, really working hard at helping them combine poise with speed, because if we can do that, we'll be hard to deal with.
How much did Sean, kind of learn from that season, part of the season being sidelined? What were kind of the takeaways? Well,
it was a year and a half. It's been about 21 months since he's played in a game. He learned a ton. I mean, he's become a real student of the game. He watches so much video on his own, more than probably any player I've ever coached. And he's a guy that'll be a coach someday when he's done playing. And, you know, he just looks at the game through that lens. He's become very, very serious about the aspects of playing the point guard position that he needs to attack and improve upon. So that gives him the chance to take a really big jump once he gets some more games under his belt and he kind of gets in rhythm and gets back into midseason form.
Coach, what's your thoughts about positionless basketball? You talked about the point guards. Do you embrace that?
Yes and no. I think it's great for guys at a variety of spots to be able to do everything. And I think if you have a team where you got 5 guys that can bring the ball up the floor, you got 5 guys that can post up, you got 5 guys that can shoot, 5 guys that can drive, that's awesome. At the same time, I'm still a big believer in the point guard position, and we do something called Point Guard U at our place with our point guards. That's very, very specific to the guys that truly identify as that position. I think there's a higher level of responsibility if you play that spot. And I, for one, don't ever want to coach a team without a couple guys that view the game that way.
Gotcha.
Hey, Coach.
Yes.
I've asked this question to all of the coaches so far. If you had to describe the Big East to maybe someone that has never seen a game or has never been a part of it, how would you describe the Big East in your opinion?
Well, the thing about the Big East that's different than any other league is the level of desperation on every campus for men's basketball. And you notice I'm not saying that we're better or we're the best, or I mean, there's a bunch of leagues that year in and year out could go after being that, and we're one of those leagues that has a chance to go after being that. But I've worked in the SEC, I've worked in the ACC, I've worked in the Big 12, and the difference between our league and their league is obvious. They have football and we do not, and because we don't 365 days a year, there's a desperation, that's the best word I can come up with, for the game and for the team on that campus to be successful in the game. And I think that makes these games really special and meaningful, not to take away from those other leagues, but 365 days a year and during the Big East season, there's nothing like it.
Specific to Marquette and you guys, you don't use the transfer portal. And that's, I don't know, I apologize if you already answered this question, but
7 times.
Have you? That's the over/under. No, I'm just curious. Like, I know culture is super important to you, but how do you pride yourself in not almost using the transfer portal intentionally in building through freshmen and guys that you've been in your program for years?
We pride ourselves in building men.
Yep.
We pride ourselves in taking a young man, 16 years old when he's a junior in high school, building a relationship with him and his family, really, really getting in a bunker together to say, hey, let's roll up our sleeves and see how good we can help you become as a person first and foremost, and then as a player. And by the way, those things are intimately connected. And then combining a group of those young men together and saying, hey, can we go do something special as a group that will reflect really well on all the individuals and help us all reach our goals. So we take a lot of pride in that. We say growth is one of our core values, and we try to back that up with how we do things.
Appreciate you.
Coach, please. Coach Smart, if you could 1v1 any Big East coach and beat them 11-0 for $1 billion, which coach would you pick and why?
Wait, so you're saying who would I have the best chance to beat?
11-0, yes.
11-0. Not me. Well, remember when Patrick Ewing was in the league? That would be the opposite of that. Wouldn't play Shaheen because he and I are about the same age, and I remember how good he was. He was incredibly good. I'm actually not going to give you that one because I don't want to start any type of beef. But I like my chances in full court one-on-one against a lot of these guys just because I'm in better shape.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, I want to ask you a question about Zayd Lowry. I actually was covering the Villanova game when you guys played at Wells Fargo Center last year. Larry had like 20. He had an awesome career game. What impact do you expect him to make this year?
Well, it was good that he had 25 because the rest of our team stunk in that game.
What's your name?
But we will get better.
From Marquette.
Zayd's made a ton of progress. It's been a lot of fun watching him grow over the course of his career, going all the way back to his junior year in high school. We need him to take a huge jump going into this year with the guys that we lost. We think he's ready to do that.
A few years ago,
It's a
Marquette
great
won the Big East
example of
Conference, but
where
back
the
then,
connection
now
between the
recently,
growth as a
Seton's
person
being
and the growth as a player is so critical, because for him it's a matter of stepping forward with confidence, with mental toughness, with leadership skills, with the ability to be resilient. And if he's able to do that, I think he's going to have a lot more games where he puts up those kind of numbers.
And I want to ask you about the guy to the left of you. Obviously, he's supposed to have a huge breakout year, Chase Strauss. What's your expectations for him this upcoming season?
To be a leader, and first and foremost to lead by example.
Absolutely.
He's a guy that, when he is driven and motivated and really locked in, he's as good as anyone on the floor at being a two-way player, offense and defense. But he's got to be more consistent with that on a night-in, night-out basis. We don't have Cam Jones anymore. We don't have Stevie Mitchell, David Joplin anymore. We need those guys, Chase, and these other guys around me to step forward on a daily basis.
Coach, fourth in the preseason poll. Too high, too low? What's your opinion?
I don't take much stock in it. I think there's great parity in our league this year. So just ready to get back to practice today. Get ready. We got Harvard Saturday and then Holy Cross next on November 3rd.
Coach Jason Edwards, obviously one of your better players. Can you just talk about what he means to your program and how it all came about?
Yeah, obviously we love Jason. A lot of our transfers, we really wanted to target guys, that have done it, put it in the books. Jason is that. I coached in the SEC. Vanderbilt going to the NCAA tournament is very impressive, and he was a huge part of that. So he's been great. He's going to score 1,500 points in less than 3 years of college basketball. That's pretty impressive.
Kim, what was it like coaching Bryce? Obviously, he was injured for a lot of the time and he wasn't on the court, but just being around him as a person, what was that like?
It was good. It was good.
Coach, UConn's Terrace Reed was just named to the All Big East first team. He had his best game of the season last year against Providence. Can you talk about the kind of player he is and what it's like facing him?
Yeah, he's very, very, very good player. Talented, strong, big hands, can defend, he finishes. Tried to get him out of Michigan. Very, very good player. One of the best bigs in the league, really good bigs.
What's Ryan Gomes brought to this organization?
Yeah, Gomes has been great. He and Brian Tavaldi both coming from the league. Gomes from Portland, Brian from Cleveland. Gomes has brought a great, he's obviously a credibility with our guys. Leading scorer in the history of our program. Decades-long NBA career, NBA coach. So he's been great. His perspective, his views on things. But as we were, thinking about filling that position, everyone that talked about Gomes talked about how great of a person he was. And I just thought we couldn't find a better example for our guys than obviously a great player, a great Providence Friar player. But the person that he is really what I want the guys, the professional that he is really what I want our guys to take from him. He's been great.
And the guys are familiar with his career, YouTube clips or whatever it is?
Yeah, I don't know. They've seen it. I think some have maybe circulated somewhere on social media. They've seen him. They've seen some clips of him. But Ryan can still get out there. He can still move around. He can shoot. So he's an active body.
Coach, how do you define success outside just wins and losses for Providence this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. Really in the daily, how locked in and focused we are to our habits. And if we win the day, that's success. The games take care of themselves, truthfully. If you do the things you're supposed to do habitually, the games will take care of themselves. But it's a good question.
What impact do you think Jalen Sellos is going to have coming off, a year where he only played 6 games last season?
Yeah, a big impact. He's obviously one of our best players, very talented, great athlete. But his professionalism, his work ethic, his routine is what is going to give him a chance to have a really good season.
Thank you.
Him is being fourth, a good thing, exciting thing. I'm sure fans will be, I would say, pleasantly surprised, but encouraged.
Yeah, I don't take much stock in it. Coaches or ops guys or whoever votes. We got some good returners. Guys. The lone bright spots to last season was the guys we brought back, I think. And and we brought in some transfers that these guys know. I think this league has great parity. I think we can beat any team in this league. I think that if we're not right, any team in this league can absolutely beat us.
Coach, Duncan Powell, obviously coming to your program from Georgia Tech, feels like a really important player for your team. Blue guy. Can you just talk about the impact of him?
Yeah, he is. We love Duncan. His size, his physicality, can guard bigger guys. He's a big, strong kid, but he also has the versatility to play on the perimeter. He's a great shooter, a good passer. He has big hands. He rebounds. He's a really good modern forward in today's game. A very important get for us at that spot.
Evan, welcome back.
Hey, Jerry. I saw you quite a bit, though, didn't I?
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Oh, this feels like what for you? What's this like for you, Kevin?
It feels great. It feels good to be back home. Especially back in the Garden. I missed the Big East tournament. I missed the battles that we had in here. Most of them were against Villanova. But it feels good to be home.
What are the biggest differences between the Big East and the Big Ten? What jumps out at you is contrast.
So the two biggest differences are the size of the league. I mean, you literally you see one team and you might not see them for a whole calendar year.
Coaches hate that.
The way it is. So the number of teams and just the overall size, like big guys, like. It's legit. If you don't have big guys in the Big Ten, you can't compete. And what I mean by big guys is like you're going against the Izzos, the Painters, who those guys have 4, 5, 6, 10 guys. So I think the size is probably the biggest difference.
What's going to be like for you to coach against Shah?
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to getting back. I really am. I mean, we played in the Prudential Center last year. It was good to see Kevin Sponzo, Jimmy O'Donnell.
Right.
But I'm so proud of Shah. Shah's doing. I know he had a tough year last year, but he's done a great job in a very difficult time of college basketball, at a place that's not the easiest job in college basketball. So he's navigated this, I think, extremely well from a standpoint. He just had one tough year, and every once in a while, I think in this climate, you're gonna have a bad year.
Can you go back to why you hired him in the first place back at Iona? Do you remember the connection, how it started?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted someone that had played, that was a point guard, and that could help me, because I wasn't going to have a big guy coach. I wasn't going to have. We were Iona. We had 3 people.
Right.
I wanted someone that could take over and just be the guard coach, and he could focus on the guards down there, and I was focused on the big guys. And I kind of knew that I wasn't going to be able to find a staff that's going to be good at big guys like. At Seton Hall, I had Grant Billmeyer.
Right.
So it was different. And I had played against him. He was from the area. And he interviewed off the charts. He was just all about wanting to get his chance, work hard, be part of something, and he fit all the criteria.
One more for me. I know these guys might have some questions. What kind of pride is there for you to see your family tree, your coaching tree grow like this, with Shah, with Grant?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, I treat my program the way Coach Pitino did. I treat my assistants the same way. I give them a lot of responsibility. I want them to be head coaches. Like right now on my staff, I think Ashley Howard's going to be a head coach again. I think David Cox is going to be a head coach. I think Greg Manning should be a head coach pretty soon. So I mean, I have guys that I want to become head coaches. A lot of guys don't want their guys to become head coaches because you lose them.
Right.
I want to lose my guys, and I want my guys to become head coaches. So, Grant's had a tough job doing great. Shah's doing great. I want my guys to become head coaches. And I got that from Rick Pitino.
I know these rankings today mean absolutely nothing, but your response to being number 7 is.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I don't even know who's on anyone's team. So.
Did that make voting for your? Your own ballot pretty hard.
I didn't vote. I don't know who voted for us. I think someone did. I literally I know some guys on Georgetown because obviously Deshaun played for me, and I know Ed, and we were going to play each other. I don't really know anybody else, so I don't know who's good.
It's not time to learn them yet.
I don't know who's good or who's bad. Hopefully by the middle of December I've watched everybody, and
Coach, one person you are familiar with is Terrace Reed. He's first team All Big East preseason. Just what impressed you when you coached against him in the Big Ten about Terrace?
That's the guy from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Again, his physicality, the way he battled Jew, because Jew was really physical. I think Terrence's physicality was really impressive because he was younger than Jew when he was there. So I thought he held up in the Big Ten. Being a big guy in the Big Ten is not easy. It's really, really hard. And I thought his consistency was really good.
We've talked a lot about Acaden so far. What's Tyler's role in making Acaden be what you want Acaden to be?
So, Tyler's the only guy we have that has experience. He's the only guy that scored in the Big East so far. So what I've relied Tyler on is to teach Acaden the intensity that you have to play in this league. It's such a big transition. And again, I think the Big East is much more of a guard league. Every night he's going to face physicality. Every night he's going to have to be on. Tyler's been really good, not only in practice, but just talking to Acaden about, like, you can't be cute. You can't be casual. You have to be on the go at all times. And I think, Acaden's really taken that message and ran with it.
You've done some of that, though, too. Acaden said you did not like his underhand full court pass the other day.
No, that was a new one. I hadn't had
he
that
said
one.
He said it worked, though.
It did work. So I couldn't argue with him as we were walking off the court because he did say it did work. But I think I told him, if you ever fucking do it again, I'm going to kill you. And he kind of said, okay, I'm going to go with your message and not my message.
Coach, do you think a lot has changed within your time from formerly coaching the Big East to now, both physically as well as within the atmosphere? Or is this all coming back naturally to you?
No, it's like riding the bike. It's not always great to see Jerry, but I mean, it's good to see, Mac, Ed. It's great to see Coach Pitino. I mean, there's still some really good faces, and to be back in the Garden, when we had some epic games in this place, so to be back here. I played in the Big East. I coached in here for 12 years. It's a great conference. It's a great family. And to be the head coach of Villanova now, which I never thought would ever have happened, is something special.
Coach, because you know it so well, for somebody that, when you're on the recruiting trail, or somebody that has never seen a Big East game before, how do you describe it? How do you put it into words what it is?
It's much different. It's much more Northeast. It's much more rugged. It's a little bit more intense than the Midwest, I would say. I think the biggest difference I always thought was, the Big East is made in the Big East tournament. There's nothing like the Big East tournament. If you've never experienced it, coached it, played it, if you've never been on a Saturday night in the Big East tournament, or really Friday night's my favorite night, I'd say, this is something special. It's just out. There's the SEC, Big Ten, Big 12 has nothing on the Big East tournament. Absolutely nothing.
Stay with the Big East. Obviously, the strength of the schedule. I know you said you don't know who's on anybody's team, but everybody's calling it a two-team race.
I'll be honest. I actually watched the podcast yesterday while I was waiting for dinner, and it's kind of comical. Like preseason polls now, I don't know how anybody. I honestly don't know how anyone ranks anybody, because no one literally has any idea how these kids are all going to fit together, play together. No one knows, no one's really dove through people's schedules to see what's going on. There's so much that goes into this, like KenPom. Like, how can you have KenPom rankings? There's no schedule. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Which kind of means something, right? Because those numbers matter, and you have to jump people.
Yes. So I just don't get this time of year. I just think you got to play basketball and see how everybody is.
Coach, how valuable is it bringing in a few guys from Maryland to help bring your culture?
Are you reading the question, or is that?
I have them written down.
Oh, yeah. But are you reading it?
I'm asking you the question.
Oh, okay. I can ask you a question, can I? It's been really important, because, actually, more importantly, bringing my staff is probably the most important thing I did, because there's no way I could teach a new staff, 13 new guys, the drills, the way we play, all of that. So my staff has been really good.
And returning to Seton Hall to coach this year, how do you think you're going to be received, and how excited are you for that game?
I heard they're going to retire my jersey.
Coach, thank you. When you look back at your time at Seton Hall, can you pick out one or two moments that you would characterize as especially meaningful or defining in your experience there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, 16 Big East championship was huge. I would also say Sterling Gibbs' step back jumper. That was, even though Sterling left the next year to go to UConn, was kind of. I think the jumper really helped him, to be honest with you. That was almost a turning point. Sterling's jumper was like a turning point because we had that freshman class coming in the next year. So I think those two definitely stick out.
Coach, what's your relationship with Ed Cooley like?
Ed's one of my very dear friends in this business, so I'd say it's pretty good.
And what's he like to go up against as an opponent?
Ed's probably the best tactical offensive coach that there is in college basketball. I put him up there with Matt Painter. If Ed needs to get a shot for a certain guy, he's got to play for it. He knows how to call it. He knows how to run it. He reminds me very much of going against Matt Painter.
And then Maryland fans have been organizing online an effort to come to the Georgetown-Villanova game at Capital One. Do you have any message for them?
No, I mean, I think it's great. I'm trying to help Ed's budget. You know, the more ticket sales I can get for Ed, I mean, I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing the Maryland fans.
Kevin, did you get lost? You're at the Villanova.
Hey, well, good knowledge. Where the hell you been?
I've been around there.
All right. You're probably just hanging out at St. John's.
Who do you like, St. John's or UConn this year?
I like Villanova.
Who would you pick if you had to pick one of those two?
Villanova.
But I'm not asking them.
I honestly don't know who's on UConn or St. John's team. I haven't looked at it.
No?
No, I got hired. I got to put a roster together. I had to raise money. I'll start looking at it eventually. I mean,
All right.
I don't play them until
December, January?
No, I don't play St. John's until January. I don't play UConn until January. So it's kind of a long way away. I'll tell you in January.
You know both those guys. How are they different as coaches?
I think they're both insane in a good way.
Just a couple questions. So I had the chance to speak with you, obviously, Villanova Media Day. Yeah. And one of the questions I asked you was how, you have to acclimate to basically being a freshman that's starting in the Big East.
Yeah.
Now that we, saw the VCU game the other day, how do you think, you've acclimated so far?
We're only one game in, but, the first game was fun. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed playing with my teammates and just being out there under the lights. I think that's what we've been working for since June. We've been on campus a while. So I think we're ready and we're still getting back healthy and everything, but I acclimated pretty well in my opinion.
And another thing about Villanova Media Day was Coach Willard kept emphasizing the defensive infrastructure, switching 1 through 5. I know you and I talked about you could defend 1, 2, so on and so forth. How do you think, it was, I think, 10 or 12 first half turnovers against VCU that you guys forced.
Yep.
So how do you think, that defensive infrastructure has, gone at least through that first game, first exhibition?
I think it's been great. I really like our system and how we switch out and everything like that. It's super aggressive. You have help on the backside, so everything allows you to, be aggressive and really go try to get steals and stops. And I think that worked out for our advantage. Like you said, we had 12 turnovers, and I think we had 22 charted deflections in our first half. So, it works. What Willard does works. It's worked everywhere he's been. Even at Seton Hall, he got after guys. So, that's what an experienced coach does for you. He helps you out.
So what about Coach Willard made you want to come to Villanova?
I had a previous connection with him. After I decommitted, I'd already known him. He's the hometown guy up in Maryland. They were at a lot of my games, practices. Just got to know him as a person. A lot of his staff as well. I saw how some of his guards got to play. Jameer really got to rock out, and so have many of his other guards. And they did a really good job, and he's done a lot for a lot of his point guards. So, I had trust in him, and I believed in it. And so far, I really enjoyed myself here.
My last question for you is, obviously you have pro aspirations, as I'm sure many guys on the team do. What area, in your opinion, do you think you could still improve on to get to, that next level?
Just efficiency, shooting the 3-ball at a better level. I've been streaky throughout my career. I've had some games where I'm 5 for 8, 5 for 7, and there's a game where I'm 1 for 5. So just figuring that out and just taking better shots. The best thing to do for efficiency is just take the shots you make at a high level, and not really force anything. So just figuring out the balance between when I need to go find a way to score to help my team out and just staying efficient and staying within myself.
Okay, that's all I have.
Yes, sir, I appreciate you.
Let me ask you. Obviously, you're at Madison Square Garden. This is
Yeah.
the Mecca. What does it mean to be here and then also eventually play here?
You know, this is why I kind of decommitted. You know, I want opportunities that not many freshmen get. I don't know how many freshmen have been to Big East Media Day in the past, whatever
Not
years.
many.
Yeah, not many have that opportunity. Not many freshmen have the opportunity to start at such a big time program like Villanova. So, you know, it's exactly what I'm here for. You know, I get to get thrown in the fire. You know, like as cool as this is, that means everyone here knows that, you know, like they're gonna get after me and they're gonna be ready to play. So I think it's amazing.
All right, thanks for your time and best of luck.
Yes, sir. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
Tyler, how you doing? Good game the other night against
Appreciate
VCU.
it. Thank you.
So I know you and Matthew were both the two returners, but as the only returner who played minutes last year, you know, what type of role do you think you're going to have both on and off the court this season?
Yeah, I think my role would definitely be big off the court. Try and tell the younger guys and, you know, the transfers, what it means to put on a Villanova jersey and how every game and every day, like, it means something more than you and how it's much bigger than you. We have a motto that says we play for those who came before us. So just helping them understand that, like, it's our turn right now, but it's been years and decades of people before us who have laid the foundation and gave us the opportunity and the platform to perform at a high level.
And I also know Coach Willard at Media Day really emphasized, you know, the defensive infrastructure you guys are going to have this year. You did a great job playing the passing lanes against VCU. I think you had 4 or 5 steals. There you go. What type of impact do you think this defense this year, the Villanova defense, is going to have against other Big East opponents?
I think it's going to be good. I'm excited. We switch up our defenses. We're still learning it too, which is the scary part. I feel like we're at a good place right now, but we can get so much better. And I'm just excited to keep growing with the team.
And then my last question for you is obviously part of covering Villanova is also covering the Big Five. I know you played at Penn, you know, your freshman year. Maybe I'm obviously asking this question a year too late, but what was the transition like going from the Ivy to the Big East? And now that you're a Big East veteran, how does that further help develop your game?
Yeah, coming from Penn to Villanova, it was tough at first.
Yeah.
Every night, like, you gotta perform, and just every player on every roster was a basketball player and you know, had pro dreams. So that was definitely an adjustment at first, but now that I've been through it and I know what to expect, I'm kind of more comfortable and in my shoes now. So I'm just ready to get back at it with my team.
Okay, I appreciate it.
So what was the biggest thing you learned from him about running a program that you took the same 2 years and then back to Seton?
It's not just one thing, a lot of things. You know, coaches, it was, for me, it was great coaching with him, you know, because he taught me a lot of things. The main thing, he let me be me, you know, and kind of do things my way and you know, instilling, you know, that confidence in me. So, you know, those things, and just, you know, understanding that, you know, he's an offensive guy, you know, but I'm a defensive guy. So, you know, I ran the defense, he ran the offense, and I thought he was a pretty good team.
Last thing, when he first hired you at Iona, what was the circumstances? Do you remember? Were you coaching at Bloomfield Tech?
No, I was coaching with Bobby Gonzalez.
Oh, you were on the staff.
Yeah,
Your staff with Gonzo at Seton Hall.
Yes,
What
sir.
happened? You remember how the whole thing went down?
No, you know what? I got a call about it through Coach Boyle that used to coach for me. I used to play for at St. Pat's, and I went for an interview. And to tell you the truth, I didn't hear from him for 2 months, so I kind of forgot about it. You know, then he called, and probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. Yes,
Hey, Coach, you have a bunch of new players who are new to the Big East. So why don't you tell them what it's going to be like when Big East play starts and what the difference between where they were at before and where they are now?
I just tell them it's a very physical league. I told Elijah Fisher to talk to him about it because he played at the DePaul. He played in the league. Garswell and also Shaheen. Just tell them to get ready for the grind. It's grind. It's physical. It's exciting. You're going to get great teams and great coaches every single game. And you're going to get a bunch of places where the atmosphere is different from where they came from. From like some guys came from major levels. This is big boy basketball.
Hey, Coach, clearly your season didn't end or go the way that you wanted it to last year.
Yep.
What have you seen in the offseason? What was the reason you think why that happened? And what have you done in the offseason to change that from happening this season?
I think, last year, a lot of different things. I think, injuries played a big part. And obviously Chauncey Jenkins going down. didn't help us. He's like our main scorer at the time. Dylan Owusu getting hurt didn't help us. So we had a lot of key guys getting hurt. And then, we lost a lot of tough, close games. You look at our roster. I mean, look at the schedule last year. And, we lost some games, like maybe 6-7 games by 3 or less points, 4 points. So if you win those games, now your confidence goes to a different level. And now things could have been different. This year, I went out and got some players, some different type of players. I went and got some point guards. I didn't think we had a point guard on the team last year. Had a couple guys I tried to convert to being point guards, which is tough. We can shoot the ball better. Our bigs are better. And I got a couple guys that I think that that the league's going to be surprised by.
Coach, we always talk about NIL stuff. I think that was a part of the situation last year. How does that?
We talk about it, or you guys talk about it?
Well, college basketball.
Okay, good.
So, how does it affect your team this year?
It's a tough question. I think obviously, I got some guys I wanted, and some guys we missed on. Because we didn't have what some other schools had. So I'm not using NIL as a crutch. I don't do that. I don't want to do that because I don't want anyone to feel a certain way. I think we made a big jump. With the resources. Obviously, do I want better? Absolutely. I think we made a big jump, and I think we got some more to do. But we kind of I got some guys I wanted. I just leave it like that.
To piggyback off of that question, Shaw, we're in a new money-focused era in college sports. Schools are selling off different experiences. Schools' NIL collectives are selling whatever they can. Seton Hall's selling off pesto, and coaches are
Seton Hall's selling off what?
Pirate pesto.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. What is that?
Like pesto, like
green pasta.
Yeah.
That's new?
Just being
Few
sold
months
over
ago.
the summer.
Okay, there you go. Oh, pesto. Okay, gotcha. I didn't know what you were saying. Okay.
We need to get a beer back, Coach.
Sorry.
You got to talk to the powers to be with that.
Sorry. And coaches are kicking in whatever they can, whether it's cameos, whether it's appearances. How has the dynamic in your job changed and your role in it? And do you think it's something that's sustainable for the future of the sport?
Is NIL sustainable?
NIL, the rush for money from schools, all of the above.
I don't know all those answers, all right? Because I don't know, our sport is changing every single day. Every single day there's new rules. You look at things, you got guys that play professional basketball now having college eligibility, so you don't know. It's changing a lot. I think you just gotta adapt and adjust with times, right? As far as a lot of NIL stuff, that's for the powers to be. I'm the coach. I gotta try to coach the guys here and bring the guys in. Obviously, I play a big part with fundraising too, like go out talking to donors and stuff like that. But I just kind of trying to focus on small things. Right? I try to focus on my team, getting them better, talking to donors, making sure they understand why we need X and X. And as far as if it's sustainable, I don't know. I don't want to talk about NIL because that subject is it's a slippery slope. So
Let's talk about Najee Hines then. What's it like coaching Najee Hines?
Let me finish answering this question.
Oh, sorry.
So our sport is changing, right? So we got to change with it and we got to adjust to it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So Najee Hines, what's it like coaching him?
Najee is he's a young man that's getting better every single day. He came in a little behind because he kind of played summer basketball, with EYBL. I got to get him in better shape, but everything else I see from him right now, I'm impressed with him. He work hard, he play hard. He's a great teammate. People around campus love him. I think it'll be very, very good for us and very good for the league.
Coach, speaking on Najee Hines, you talk about how he came in a little bit late. What have you seen? What improvements have you seen from when he first came in to now going into the season?
I think just understanding play against college basketball players every day. I mean, no disrespect to high school basketball players, but like when you're the biggest guy on the team or the biggest guy on the court, you kind of dominate. Right now, he's playing against college guys every single day, so he's understanding how to adjust to, the physicality of the league. And I think as he goes, he's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to development and see where it goes.
I'm doing great.
So my name's Stephen Bagell. This is Andrew Schaeffer. We're from the Center Hub.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
So we just did a college basketball publication magazine.
Right.
And I wrote the Big East, and I wrote as you being one of the most impactful transfers,
Right.
in the Big East, in the conference, and maybe even in the country.
Yeah.
So what, you played a couple years in the WCC, obviously for Pepperdine and then Gonzaga.
Yeah.
How do you expect the Big East to kind of differ in terms of both style of play, competition, all that?
I think the physicality, a lot of tougher teams,
Yeah.
a lot of stronger guys, more athletic, especially. But I'm confident in my abilities to move past that and just outwork them. Big East have some really good coaches as well, so they're gonna scout differently. But it's not nothing too new to me. I'm just ready to play and play each game, and yeah.
Absolutely. And coming off your year at Pepperdine, when you transferred to Gonzaga, your name popped up on a lot of NBA draft boards.
Yeah.
How do you sort of anticipate getting, to that next level? Like, what part of your game, in your opinion, do you need to improve on to get to that level this year?
I feel like just getting back where I was, and just trusting my teammates to trust me with the ball, and I feel like if the team does well, I do well.
Yeah.
So just having that in mind, and going back to defending all levels, everybody, scoring all 3 levels. Just being who I am,
And then my last question for you, Michael, is I'm blanking where you guys are in the preseason poll that came out this morning. I think you were 8th or 9th.
Yeah.
But obviously last year you were at Gonzaga, who predominantly dominates the WCC.
Right.
So how does that, change your mindset, I suppose, in terms of, now you're 8th or 9th in the conference projected,
Right.
as opposed to, being the
Number
front
one.
runners? Yeah.
I think it just gives us more of a chip on our shoulder,
Okay.
and just a lot of motivation going into the season. I feel like preseason rankings don't really matter. We just got to go out there and have fun and do what we do. Not a lot of expectations, but we have expectations for ourselves, and we have high standards that we have for ourselves. So we're just ready to show them why we're top 5 and go to the tournament.
Okay.
What's it going to be like to play at Henkel? First time around, what's that going to be like for you?
It's great, man. I feel like sold out is going to be amazing. It's definitely a basketball city and a basketball school. So a lot of history going down in there, and everyone loves Butler basketball down there in Indiana. So
What have the conversations been like with Coach Mata, just in terms of your role for the season and everything? What have those been like so far?
just being a leader, showing the young guys how it's done. I have a lot of experience in this. And just showing these guys how to play, right brand of basketball, and trying to win as much games as possible. He expects me to dominate on both ends of the floor, and that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Okay.
What's up, positionless basketball, and do you embrace that?
Positionless basketball, it's interesting because there's almost a move now to playing bigger. And I think there is going to be a move with some programs to go back to traditional basketball, less positionless, more traditional. I don't think you'll ever see quite like it was, but there has been a move both in the NBA and in college playing 2 traditional bigs together. So, positionless, however you want to phrase it, I think that's how some people do it. I just think you're going to play to the strengths of your team, given this new roster churn. You're going to play to the strengths of your team. Some teams are going to play like that. Other teams, I think, in our league will play more traditional.
Any preference for your own team?
Last year, we were very much positionless when you look at the way we finished the season. I think this year we'll probably certainly play more of a traditional center than what we have. Okay, thank you.
Coach, last year you not only played Georgetown 3 times, you beat them 3 times. What is it like to match up against Ed Cooley?
He's one of the best coaches in the country, bar none. Ed's one of the very best coaches in the country. His teams are really physical. In all 3 of those games, they didn't have their big kid. So there was a benefit to not going against a lottery pick. But our guys played really well in all 3 of those games. And we were able to sneak one out at their place and then play really well here in Madison Square Garden.
And do you view, as both you and Coach Cooley started at similar points in the program trajectory, pretty close to the bottom of the Big East, do you view yourself as in it with Georgetown in its rebuilding?
Well, listen, he took a big step in year 2. I would certainly take that. I know people, got on him, whatever, for losing to us in the Big East tournament. But, like, he took a big step in year 2. Real progress, real growth. Again, he's one of the best coaches in the country. So they're a little bit ahead of us. He's a year ahead of me in terms of this whole thing. But, they're going to have another big step this year, I think.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good. I'm sorry, go
No,
ahead.
we're together.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Stephen Bagell and Andrew Schaeffer from the Center.
Great.
Nice to meet you, Coach.
Go ahead.
You bring back, obviously, 3 guys from your team last year in Blocker, Gunn, and Benson.
Yeah.
It's being a second year in the Big East, obviously you're familiar with the league, but how nice is it having those guys back with building the culture and the continuity and the whole thing? How important was that for you?
Huge. It's huge. Bottom line, I think you might have heard me say, to be able to have a roster that has continuity was going to be critical for us in rebuilding this
I gotta
thing.
grab Coach.
Okay.
You're all good.
Sorry.
You're
Sorry
good,
about that.
Coach.
Well, you can grab me later if you want.
I will. Thank you, Coach.